What if the biggest mistake men make with a woman happens before they even speak? Machiavelli noticed this long before modern dating advice existed. It's not about clever lines or tricks, it's about presence. Attraction starts silently through posture, calmness, and emotional control, not words or effort. Many men think rejection means they lack value. In truth, it usually means they are unaware of the signals they give off. A woman notices how a man carries himself, his confidence, and his energy before she listens to a single word. Trying too hard to impress or be liked often signals the opposite of confidence. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding human perception and becoming aware of your presence. Machiavelli's observations show why some men naturally draw attention while others struggle. When you grasp this, your interactions with women and your self-confidence can change completely. What really catches her attention? Women rarely judge a man by what he says or how much effort he puts in. It's not about being funny, charming, or overly polite. What truly matters is the energy he carries and the way he handles himself. The first thing she notices is psychological stability, how calm he is, how he reacts to challenges, and how comfortable he feels without constantly seeking attention. From the very first moment a man enters a room or interacts with someone, women instinctively pick up on subtle cues. They notice posture. Is he relaxed and confident, or tense and uncertain? They observe movements. Are they slow and controlled, or rushed and fidgety? They sense emotional responses. Does he stay steady under uncertainty, or does he overreact? These are signals that speak louder than words. They are automatic, unconscious, and powerful. How a man handles the absence of attention is equally important. Seeking constant validation communicates neediness. Being comfortable without external approval shows confidence and inner strength. Women are naturally drawn to energy that reflects stability, independence, and calm assurance. This is not about tricks or manipulation, it's simply how human perception works. Machiavelli knew that influence begins before a single word is spoken. The way a man exists in the moment, the energy he carries, and the subtle signals he sends often matter far more than his words or gestures. A grounded man, self-aware, steady, and emotionally balanced, doesn't chase attention or force reactions. His calm energy naturally sparks curiosity. People, including women, want to understand him and feel drawn to his composed confidence. This quiet presence makes him memorable and magnetic without needing to perform. Focusing on internal stability allows a man to stop relying on external approval. Words, compliments, and explanations can support his presence, but they cannot replace it. First impressions are formed silently, through posture, movement, tone, and the energy he radiates. Attraction often begins before any conversation. A woman senses confidence, control, and emotional stability in a man who knows how to carry himself. When a man masters his presence, he no longer acts from fear or need. Instead, he naturally commands respect and attention. In short, being genuinely magnetic is not about effort, charm, or persuasion. It's about presence, composure, and stability. These qualities draw women instinctively, long before a single word is spoken. Mastering this is the key to creating lasting impact and connection without trying too hard. Why confidence sometimes fails. Many men believe that when a woman doesn't respond as they hope, the problem lies with her or with them. In reality, the confusion usually comes from not understanding the subtle, invisible signals that guide human attraction. When a man enters a social situation unaware, his body often carries tension. This tension shows in the way he moves, speaks, or reacts. He may rush, speak too fast, or try too hard to impress. Wanting attention, approval, or validation is natural, but when it is obvious, it can send the wrong signal. Effort alone does not create attraction. Trying too hard often appears needy or insecure. A woman notices the energy behind a man's actions more than the actions themselves. Even kindness can lose its effect if it comes from a place of dependency rather than self-assurance. Actions that could attract may become neutral or even off-putting if they reveal neediness. Machiavelli observed that true influence weakens the moment a man chases, over-explains, or begs for acceptance. When a man relies on external validation, he signals a lack of inner stability. This is why good men often struggle despite their intentions. The solution is self-awareness. A man's internal state, calmness, confidence, and emotional control, communicates more than words ever could. Presence is not about doing or trying, it is about being. A man who is secure in himself naturally projects value, and his energy reassures others rather than demands attention. Instead of rushing to impress, he moves deliberately. Instead of over-explaining, he speaks calmly and lets his behavior reflect composure. Posture, pace, and energy all become tools for silent communication. When mastered, this awareness removes tension, eliminates unintentional neediness, and allows attraction to develop naturally. The key takeaway: men rarely fail because they lack value. They fail because they misunderstand how perception works. Women are reading stability, confidence, and emotional security, not words or effort. Mastering this creates an environment where connection grows effortlessly without force or neediness. The power of calm confidence. Machiavelli never suggested that men should be loud, aggressive, or forceful to gain respect or influence. True impact doesn't come from noise or showiness. Real influence is quiet, steady, and comes from being in control of yourself, not trying to control others. A man who speaks slowly, listens more than he talks, and doesn't rush to fill silence creates a natural presence that feels weighty and confident. This doesn't mean trying to control anyone, it means managing your own energy, emotions, and actions. When a man stays composed, even in uncertain situations, and responds thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively, he projects confidence without effort. Women notice this instinctively. They feel safe, comfortable, and curious around a man who doesn't feel the need to prove himself. He isn't showing off or performing. Instead, his calm energy communicates that he is secure, capable, and grounded. This quiet confidence draws attention naturally. It doesn't demand it. Calm leadership shows up in small, meaningful ways. The way a man carries himself, the steadiness of his gaze, the patience in his speech, and the careful tone of his voice all signal that he is centered and aware. He doesn't rush interactions or seek approval. He moves intentionally, letting his presence speak before words are needed. It's not about dominating others, it's about being in control of yourself. The calm man leads by example. He sets the pace without forcing others to follow. He creates room for curiosity, engagement, and observation. His influence is experienced, not declared. Respect comes naturally because of how he shows up, not because he demands it. This approach is powerful because it is the opposite of common mistakes that reduce attraction. Men who are loud, reactive, or desperate to impress show insecurity. Women instinctively notice this imbalance and feel less drawn to it. In contrast, a man who embodies calm confidence communicates competence, reliability, and emotional stability, qualities that naturally inspire admiration and interest. Machiavelli's lesson is simple but important. Leadership and attraction are not about force or show. They are about calm, self-regulated presence. By mastering this kind of quiet confidence, a man creates an energy that naturally draws attention, curiosity, and respect. It is a strength that does not shout, yet is deeply felt and impossible to ignore. Calm presence over desire. One of the most important lessons from Machiavelli is that attraction begins before a single word is spoken. Many men make the mistake of entering an interaction with the goal of impressing or winning a woman's attention. They think compliments, charm, or clever words will create interest. In reality, this approach often backfires because women notice energy first, long before words matter. A woman senses subtle cues instinctively. She notices urgency, anxiety, or the need for approval in a man's behavior. Even if a man tries to hide it, these signals reveal insecurity. Acting overly eager, fidgeting, or pushing for attention communicates instability. This energy can unintentionally create distance, no matter how good the man's intentions are. The solution is replacing intention with calm presence. Presence is being grounded, self-aware, and fully in the moment. It is not performing or trying to impress. It is showing steady energy that reflects confidence, patience, and control. Being present allows you to observe the environment first, understand the flow of interaction, and adjust naturally without forcing anything. Your body speaks louder than words. Relaxed posture, measured movements, and comfortable silence show a woman that you are secure and self-contained. Even small things like steady breathing, calm eye contact, and gentle gestures signal emotional stability. When a man projects calm, it communicates that he can handle uncertainty, stress, and social dynamics without relying on approval from others. Women respond to this because it signals emotional security and independence. These qualities are universally attractive, as they show a man is comfortable with himself and capable of handling situations calmly. Words become secondary because his energy already communicates value, control, and composure. Attraction begins silently, through the way he exists in the moment before conversation, humor, or charm comes into play. Focusing on presence over intention means letting go of the need to impress or manipulate. It is about existing with confidence and self-awareness. It is about projecting natural energy that encourages curiosity, respect, and engagement. When a man masters this, he no longer relies on effort or performance to draw attention. The first impression comes naturally, through energy, posture, and calm behavior. In short, calm presence replaces desire-driven actions. It allows a man to show who he is without trying to control the interaction, making his confidence and stability immediately noticeable. Machiavelli understood that influence begins silently, long before words are exchanged, and that the right energy creates lasting attraction. The power of purpose. One of the most important lessons Machiavelli shared is that the way a man moves through life speaks louder than any words or gestures. Women naturally notice men who seem to have a clear direction, a sense of purpose, and a life they are actively building. Attraction often begins not with charm or appearance, but with the energy a man projects through his focus and daily actions. Having purpose does not mean being loud, aggressive, or showing off. Men who constantly announce their goals or try to impress often appear insecure or needy without even realizing it. True purpose is subtle. It is seen in the calm confidence of a man's posture, the steadiness of his movements, the focus in his eyes, and the way he carries himself through everyday life. Even small actions, how he handles tasks, how he responds to challenges, and how he prioritizes his time, reveal that he is in control of his life and moving forward intentionally. Women don't just observe a man, they also sense the world he inhabits. They notice whether he has responsibilities, hobbies, projects, friendships, or goals that occupy his time and energy. This world reflects his inner structure, values, and reliability. A man who seems aimless, overly available, or distracted by trivial matters unintentionally signals dependence and lack of self-sufficiency. Many men fail to attract not because they are lacking value, but because they fail to communicate that their life has focus and direction. Purpose naturally creates attraction because it signals stability and independence. A man with a structured, meaningful life shows that he does not need external validation to feel worthy. Women sense this independence and find it inherently attractive. It communicates that the man is capable, reliable, and confident in himself. A man who is fully engaged in his own path projects a magnetic energy because he is not chasing attention or approval. He is living intentionally. It is important to understand that direction is subtle. It is not about making grand statements, boasting, or constantly proving your worth. True direction shows through consistency in actions, thoughtfulness in decision-making, and discipline in how one spends time and energy. When a man manages his responsibilities, reacts to challenges with calm, and prioritizes what matters most, he communicates quiet competence, resilience, and inner confidence, qualities that naturally attract interest. A man with purpose does not need to chase attention or validation. His life itself communicates value. By focusing on his goals, maintaining discipline, and creating a meaningful world around him, he naturally inspires respect and curiosity. Women are drawn to the energy of someone who is moving forward, not to someone desperate for approval or recognition. In summary, the power of purpose is simple but profound. It signals stability, independence, and inner strength. Women are instinctively attracted to men who have direction, act with focus, and live intentionally. A man who masters his purpose draws interest effortlessly because his life, actions, and energy communicate competence and confidence long before a single word is spoken. The power of silent presence. There is a truth many men never realize because it challenges their pride and assumptions. Centuries ago, Machiavelli noticed one of the most important lessons about human behavior and attraction, long before any modern dating advice existed. A woman does not notice what a man says first. Words come later. What she registers first is his presence, how he carries himself, his posture, the way he moves, and the calm energy he gives off. These subtle signals send an unconscious message before a single word is spoken. Many men fail without even knowing why. They enter situations trying too hard to impress, explain, or show off. They want to be liked, admired, or validated. The moment they do this, they unintentionally broadcast neediness. They signal uncertainty about their own worth. But rejection is rarely about lacking value. Most of the time, it happens because men are unaware of the hidden cues that influence perception. Women instinctively read these signals. They notice even the smallest details that reveal stability, confidence, and emotional control, or the opposite. From posture to gestures, from breathing to subtle facial expressions, every little thing communicates something. A hurried movement, a slouched shoulder, avoiding eye contact, or fidgeting, all of these give away insecurity. Women pick up on these signals automatically without conscious thought. This is why men often feel confused. They focus on saying the right things, but words cannot overcome the signals their body already sends. Presence, not conversation, is the foundation of first impressions. A calm, grounded energy communicates stability. A steady posture and relaxed movements communicate self-confidence. A man who is aware of his energy, his rhythm, and his composure communicates value long before he opens his mouth. Machiavelli understood that attraction begins quietly. It does not come from loud gestures, flashy actions, or trying to dominate a situation. It comes from demonstrating, without effort, that you are grounded, secure, and comfortable in your own skin. Women sense this instinctively. It is not judgment, it is biology and psychology at work. Every man has the opportunity to develop this skill. By becoming aware of your posture, your energy, and your calm, you send the right signals naturally. Before you speak, your presence has already spoken volumes. This awareness can feel uncomfortable because it goes against the common belief that words or effort alone create attraction. The truth is, real influence comes from who you are quietly, consistently, and without trying to force anything. The lesson is clear. Before you speak, before you act, before you seek approval, understand this principle. Attraction starts with presence. And the good news is that this presence can be learned, practiced, and strengthened. By mastering your silent energy, you create a foundation for every interaction, long before words ever enter the conversation. The power of selective presence. One of the biggest misconceptions about attraction is how availability works. Many men believe that constantly being present, saying yes to everything, and giving all their attention will make a woman more interested. In reality, this often backfires. Women don't want to feel like the only option. They want to feel genuinely chosen. Being too available can send the wrong signal. It can make a woman perceive that your attention is easy to get, which lowers your perceived value. When a man always gives without discretion, it can signal dependence or insecurity, even unintentionally. On the other hand, when a man shows that his attention is selective, that he values his own time and energy, his presence carries meaning. His interest is seen as intentional, thoughtful, and deliberate, not automatic or desperate. Having standards doesn't mean being cold, distant, or ignoring women. It simply means valuing your own priorities, time, and life. A man who respects himself communicates independence, confidence, and stability. These traits naturally attract women because they signal competence and emotional security. People are drawn to those who are grounded and self-sufficient. They feel safe and intrigued around them. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He recognized that choice is more powerful than pursuit. A man who acts from choice rather than need communicates silently that he controls his life, his goals, and his energy. This sends a message of strength and autonomy without saying a single word. A woman senses this even if she cannot articulate it consciously. She feels part of a world that has balance, meaning, and structure, rather than filling a void in a man's life. This principle also protects a man from neediness. Chasing constant attention or approval signals insecurity. By giving your attention deliberately, from choice, you maintain autonomy and independence. This makes your presence rare, meaningful, and intriguing. It creates a sense of mystery, respect, and natural attraction because your energy is intentional and controlled. It's crucial to understand that boundaries and selectivity are not games or manipulation. They are natural signals of self-respect. A man with a full life, projects, goals, hobbies, friendships, doesn't revolve around anyone else's attention. He attracts naturally because his life is rich and engaging. Women notice a man who has options, direction, and focus. His world communicates value before a single word is spoken, and instinctively, they register him as someone interesting, stable, and high value. In short, attraction grows when availability is balanced with choice. Be present but not predictable. Show interest but don't depend on approval. Be consistent but don't reveal everything at once. This balance makes your attention meaningful. When a woman senses that she is chosen intentionally, rather than being the default, her curiosity and engagement increase naturally. By valuing your time, maintaining standards, and showing selective presence, you move from chasing validation to leading through calm confidence. Machiavelli's lesson remains timeless. A man who operates from choice, not need, communicates strength, independence, and emotional stability. And this is far more compelling than trying too hard or forcing attention. Mastering calm presence. The final lesson is about balance and calm energy. True presence isn't about showing off, dominating, or disappearing into the background. It isn't about giving too much attention or being distant. Instead, it's about being fully yourself in a steady and natural way. Someone who draws people in without forcing anything. To master this calm presence, you need to show up fully in the moment. Be aware of your surroundings and the people you interact with, but never push your energy onto anyone. Trying too hard, being loud, or acting desperate can make others feel uncomfortable or pressured. A calm, composed man automatically feels safe, confident, and inviting to those around him. Being genuinely interested while maintaining independence is also crucial. Curiosity and engagement are attractive qualities, but they only work if they come from choice, not neediness. If your attention depends on approval or validation, it shows insecurity. However, if you stay engaged while being independent, your presence becomes magnetic. Others sense that your energy is steady, not dependent on their reactions, which naturally sparks curiosity and interest. Consistency plays an important role as well. Being reliable and steady communicates emotional stability and trustworthiness. However, consistency doesn't mean being predictable or boring. Controlled presence is about finding the balance between being dependable and keeping a sense of depth or mystery. Your actions should be confident and grounded while hinting at something more beneath the surface. This makes people want to learn more about you. Creating space is another key part of calm presence. Attraction thrives when people feel they are discovering someone naturally rather than being pressured or rushed. By giving space for observation, curiosity, and natural emotional responses, you allow interactions to grow organically. Over-explaining, forcing attention, or dominating a conversation can break this subtle influence. Calm presence is about letting others notice and engage at their own pace. In practical terms, this looks like steady body language, relaxed posture, measured speech, and maintaining eye contact without staring. Listen as much as you speak, respond thoughtfully rather than reacting immediately, and stay emotionally balanced even in unpredictable situations. These small, consistent behaviors communicate confidence, self-awareness, and stability. Ultimately, mastering calm presence is about balancing attention, energy, and timing. People are naturally drawn to someone who is composed, grounded, and purposeful, without being overwhelming. They notice the clarity in his choices, the calm in his energy, and the signals that he is fully in control of himself and his life. Machiavelli recognized that attraction doesn't come from effort or performance alone. It grows in an environment of curiosity, space, and controlled energy. When a man maintains calm presence, stays independent yet engaged, and balances steadiness with a hint of mystery, he creates interactions where interest naturally develops. This is the final stage of mastery, becoming someone who invites connection effortlessly through calm, measured, and self-aware behavior. Machiavelli's lesson shows most men misunderstand attraction. It's not about effort, it's about awareness. Women respond to calm confidence, emotional control, direction, and self-mastery, not trying too hard. Men fail when they show need instead of stability. When you focus on yourself, stay grounded, and act with quiet confidence, attraction happens naturally. Master your presence, and people are drawn to you without force. If you found this valuable, like this video and subscribe for more insights on psychology and self-mastery.